You're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. Visit us online at www.xzoneradio.com.
Everybody likes a celebration, happy music and conversation. I'd be like
The X Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network and our fine family of broadcast affiliates across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, 24 Asian countries, and across Europe. If you'd like to give us a call, our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. That is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii at 1-877-528-8255. My email address is xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com. And our websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com. The X Chronicles is available for purchase at scribd.com/X Zone Radio TV, and we're just putting together the finishing touches on the June-July edition of the X Chronicles, which goes on sale this coming Saturday. And the front page is The Lies of Cal Korff and Others Who Lurk in the Paranormal. Interesting stuff. We're going to be discussing a lot of the lies that Cal Korff has been telling over the last couple of years and how we've caught him dead to right in many of them. And we're also going to be exposing others and how we've caught them in lies and misrepresenting themselves, including Jason Rand, whose real name is Paul Bondora, and Harry Walther, who has never been an accredited pastor. He just gave himself that name and started his website, and we've got a slew of others. Then each and every edition of the X Chronicles newspaper, we're going to be exposing these people who have been using their lies for their own personal gain. Also in the month of July, we are going to be publishing the very first edition of our newest publication, The Ghost Chronicles. That's coming up in July. Once again, our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. And this hour, I'm going to be talking with a good friend of ours, Cliff MICKLESON. We're going to be talking about Morgellons. Now, you're probably saying, if you're new to the X Zone on one of our new affiliates, what is Morgellons? Well, Morgellons disease is also referred to as the fiber disease and is, as yet, unrecognized by the medical community. Thousands who have registered report remarkably similar symptoms, generally involving lesions and fibers developing in the skin. In brief, most patients report stinging, biting, crawling sensations associated with skin, along with fibers, lesions, and brain fog as the most significant of symptoms. It's important to note that some patients have no lesions, yet do have fibers produced from unbroken skin. You may be asking yourself, is it contagious? Well, it's difficult to say whether Morgellons is contagious or not. Many patients have family members who exhibit no symptoms whatsoever. On the other hand, many entire families have reported becoming infected at or near the same time. At this juncture, it remains unclear if these households with multiple infected members reflect contagious contagions due to human transmission or some type of mutual exposure. But we also know that animals can get Morgellons. When I come back from this 2-minute commercial break, one of the crusaders in trying to make sense of this horrific disease is Cliff MICKLESON. And we've had the pleasure of having Cliff on the show a number of times, and he's always welcomed here. And he's going to be giving us a Morgellons update right here on the X-Zone. After all, this is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. And I will be back with Cliff MICKLESON in 2 minutes as we continue live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton.
You know our love was meant to be the kind of love that lasts forever. And I want you here with me from tonight until the end of time. You should know.
This should be the national anthem for the people who work so hard at trying to discover a cure for Morgellons disease, as well as find out what the hell this disease is all about. My special guest this hour is Cliff MICKLESON, and if you'd like more information on Morgellons, www.thenmo.org. And Cliff, my good friend, welcome back to the X-Zone. How are things with the Morgellons crew that I call the greatest crusaders of all?
Well, Rob, first of all, pleasure to be back on the show, and I'd like to say hello to you and to all the X-Zone Nation out there. The Morgellons issue is still on the front burner with us. We've had kind of an interesting year. We've had a lot of progress made in the public awareness sector. Mm-hmm. We've had quite a few people that, with some celebrity status, come forward now. This disease, as you know, is spreading, and more and more people are willing to step out and say, hey, I've got this. So we're encouraged by that. We're still lagging in the research sector, but we're hoping to be able to make that up in the next year or so.
Cliff, you sent me an email that was talking about Lyme disease. Is there a connection between Lyme disease and Morgellons?
Well, that's an issue of some debate. I personally feel that there is, if there's any connection at all, it's a passive one. Mm-hmm. Morgellons is connected with a lot of other diseases as well. You can have cancer and have a common cold, so it's just as easy to have Lyme disease and to have Morgellons. So I think that if there's any connection, it's strictly an opportunistic one.
Now, tell me, Cliff, are more people coming forward with Morgellons that are forming a pattern that you can see pertaining to Morgellons, or is it just people coming forward and there's still no common thread?
Well, there's still no common thread, Rob, but the good news is more and more people are coming forward willing to make a public statement about being afflicted with this condition. Mm-hmm. And, of course, that is good news because it helps bring it to the forefront of the public consciousness. We've had a number of celebrities, as I stated earlier, who have been affected and are willing now to state their case in the public limelight. So that really helps. It really helps bring awareness to our condition.
Cliff, the people who are struggling with Morgellons, are they able to get any relief? Has anything been found to help them out?
Sadly, no, Rob. It's just kind of the same old here. Until we get some serious research and get the funding. And, of course, funding, as we both know, is the key here in modern medicine. Until we get that funding and get a commitment from the people who work in the federal government and in the Canadian federal government to really find out what's going on with this affliction, we're really going to be fighting an uphill battle.
I find that so frustrating because there are so many people who have Morgellons. There are so many people who are suffering. There are so many people who are losing jobs, losing their children, losing their everything because the governments of the United States, Canada, Great Britain, and other countries where there's Morgellons refuse to do anything based on, for example, in the United States, it's the FDA, in Canada, it's Health and Welfare Canada, because these bureaucratic departments refuse to say, you know what, this is a disease. We should spend some serious money and find out what the heck's going on about it.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I'm very puzzled by this lack of, I wouldn't call it interest, this lack of awareness or this lack of desire to even be involved in this issue, while they are spending millions and millions of our tax dollars on other afflictions that never surface, that never materialize. I can SARS and all these other different things that have come up over the years. They're beating the drums instantly about this and spending millions, yet other issues such as chronic Lyme, Morgellons, fibromyalgia, they just seem to be off in the ether somewhere. It's very puzzling.
Well, let's not just look at the medical community. Let's look at how much money went into the auto industry.
Absolutely.
In bailout packages and in banking bailouts, insurance company bailouts, the mortgage industry bailouts. What is wrong with taking that money and putting it into research for people who are suffering?
Robin, we're not asking for a lot of money in relation to the money that you're talking about with these bailouts and stuff, where we're talking billions and trillions of dollars. Even $50 million would make a huge dent in understanding what's going on with this affliction. We'd be able to get the science we need. We'd be able to get the laboratories we need and the tests we need to find out just exactly what is this strange and bizarre illness.
I know how medical research works very well because for a while I was the executive director of the International Institute for Spinal Regeneration. And my function was to raise money for spinal regeneration research. Here in Hamilton, Ontario, at McMaster University, we have a very gifted and talented neurosurgeon, neurologist, Dr. Michel Rathbone. He and his crew, I call them a crew because they're a great gang, he and his associates, doctors, students who are dedicated to medical research, are looking for money so that people can walk again. So whether it's Morgellons, and God bless those people with Morgellons, or whether it's getting people to walk again, it seems that those who need the money don't have access to it. And yet those who don't get it. It boggles my mind.
Well, it's priorities, Rob, and I think that people just are at the bottom of the list when it comes to priorities. The actual needs of the common working person, the common person in this society. There's other things at play which I don't really understand, but it's almost as if there's a deliberate policy of ignoring some of these afflictions, just letting them run until they become so rampant that you've got just a disaster on your hands, or a disaster in the making.
I remember when the FDA was going to get involved and how elated we were, and yet nothing happened.
That certainly fell off the charts, didn't it?
Oh, it sure did.
We're still kind of wondering where those old boys went. They were supposed to, the CDC was supposed to release that report through Kaiser. They were working with the court previous show, they did this really underfunded report or study, and nothing ever came of it. It just fell off the charts.
Now, that in itself raises flags in my way of thinking. Why did it just fall off? Why wasn't a report issued? What did they find that they don't want the public to know about? What did they find that they don't want the people who are afflicted with Morgellons to find out? Is it possible that what Morgellons really is a man-made disease that went wrong and that they realize this now and they're covering up their steps?
Well, yes, you could make a case for that. If the parties responsible for this affliction are indeed, for instance, government scientists or private industry laboratories that created something that they weren't supposed to create, that got away from them, they would have to have a lot of power. So that would limit the number of people and organizations that could be at fault. But it's a very valid point and one that deserves examination.
You know, the fact that Morgellons is a relatively new disease, and I have to ask you at this point, is it new because of the way that the information is being spread through the internet that people can actually find out and get tallied onto the counts, or is it because it wasn't around before?
No, I believe, Rob, that it's because it wasn't around before. But mainly, and I base that belief on the fact that the majority of cases have all originated within the last 10 to 15 years. Now, we do have a few people, and I mean very few people, who say, well, I've had this affliction for 40 years. I've had this affliction since I was a child in 1950. One out of 10,000 people, maybe, that say that, and we don't have any way to prove or disprove that. But the vast majority, and I mean 98%, 99% of the cases, all originated in the 1990s. And the people that have been afflicted by that have verified that with their own statements. So this thing came out of nowhere about 15, 20 years ago.
Now, if my memory serves me correct, Cliff, the majority of cases are in Florida, California, and Texas?
Well, in the United States, that's where there seem to be clusters. But it is worldwide. We have a lot of cases up in Vancouver. There's cases in Toronto. There's cases all over the world. And, of course, as we know, I have a file that lists cases everywhere except Antarctica. But there are heavy clusters in California, particularly the Bay Area. There's heavy clusters in parts of Texas and Florida. And in Canada, we have a lot of cases in Vancouver.
Now, it seems to be on the Pacific. It seems to be the coastal lines where the heavy clusters are. And I remember, was I talking to one of the other members of the Morgellons group that it seems that the timing and the locations, maybe when we did the charting, has something to do with possibly. Now, I'm not saying that this is the solution, but it seems that there is a space connection with the flights that have gone up, that have been returned, the mass clusters in Florida, where the space center is, as well as in California, where you have the shuttle at times returning to.
Right, and it's interesting because we've racked our brains over this ourselves, trying to figure out where is a tie, where's a connection. And unfortunately, you can make a case for a lot of different scenarios that tie in. And they're all possibilities. My position is that until we actually prove something, all things remain on the table. So everyone's theory remains valid until it's disproved.
Cliff, please stand by. You and I have to take our commercial break with the news at the bottom of the hour. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, my friend. Cliff MICKLESON is our special guest. www.thenmo.org is the website, and Cliff and I will be back on the other side of the news right here in the X Zone.
Attention, female dieters. The following is a public announcement for women age 18 and up who are interested in boosting their love lives while zapping belly fat and cellulite as part of a national weight loss survey. If you qualify to participate, you will receive a free trial of a new high-speed diet pill called Slim Seduction. Originally developed as a libido booster for women, many Slim Seduction users have also reported startling losses of belly fat and cellulite while following a healthy lifestyle plan. And now, You can get a free trial of Slim Seduction if you qualify. Just visit slim16.com. Again, this is a public announcement for women age 18 and up who are interested in enhancing their love lives and losing belly fat and cellulite. But hurry, participation in this national weight loss survey is extremely limited and based on a first-come, first-served basis. To see if you qualify for a free trial of Slim Seduction, just visit slim16.com. Remember slim16.com. That's slim, then the number 16.com.
Douglas James Cottrell, who has been called Canada's Edgar Casey, has just made available his latest CD, Douglas Cottrell 2012 Earth Changes, the first CD in the 2012 Prophecy series. This session features information gathered from the Akashic Records in a deep trance meditation session by Douglas James Cottrell in March of 2009. In this session, Douglas explains changes that have taken place in the Earth's core, changes to the Earth's poles, and the real reason why the polar caps are melting. Douglas also elaborates on increased volcanic and earthquake activity between now and 2012, including what, where, and when. To order your copy of Douglas Cottrell 2012 Earth Changes, visit his website at douglasjamescottrell.com or call toll-free 877-COTTREL.
You're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. Visit us online at www.xzoneradio.com.
My question is, where was Mary when I was growing up? Yeah. That's what I'd like to know. 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My guest this hour is Cliff MICKLESON. We're talking about Morgellons, or the fiber disease. Now, if you'd like more information, or if you'd like to make a donation and help with the medical research that is desperately needed to find the cure and the cause of this disease that literally is ruining lives around the world, the website is www.thenmo.org. That's www.thenmo.org. You know, Cliff, many people do not realize that there have been cases where parents have had their children taken away from them because they have Morgellons, because people think it is a parasitosis?
Well, they think it's a mental condition.
Yeah.
They think these people are having hallucinations, or that they're suffering from some kind of delusional parasitosis, and that's the correct term, delusional parasitosis. And of course, that's been the common diagnosis for quite some time, and it has literally ruined the lives of hundreds of people, Rob. Hundreds and hundreds of people have had their careers ruined because of this diagnosis. They've had their marriages ruined. They've had their children taken away from them. They've been labeled as crazy. It's criminal. It's just unbelievable. It's hard to believe.
Cliff, are more members of the medical community opening up to the existence of Morgellons, and are people able to talk frankly and openly with some doctors about Morgellons without having the fear of retribution?
Encouragingly, yes. We're very, very happy to say that there's more and more public awareness. And, of course, this is what we've been working for some time, is to bring awareness to the medical community and to the public at large. And slowly but surely, we're beginning to see the doors open on this issue, and more doctors are willing to say, hey, okay, we're going to look into this. We won't just write it off, or we won't run screaming from the room and slam the door behind us. They're willing to actually engage.
I really have a hard time understanding the medical community when it comes to the Morgellons and the way that the people are treated. They're treated as if they have a mental problem, not as if they have a medical problem. And I remember talking to many people on the show when you and I have done segments who, they're afraid to go to their doctors. In fact, some of them are nurses.
Yes.
Members of the medical community themselves.
Some of the nurses, and a lot of nurses are afflicted with this condition. Some of the nurses themselves have gone to the doctors they've worked with all their career and been unceremoniously booted out the door, and without so much as how they do. Is there any
part of this world, I mean, besides the Arctic and Antarctica, where there is no Morgellons to your way of seeing the research?
No, this is a global syndrome. This is a global affliction, Rob. I have cases from everywhere. You can't offhand think of a country where I haven't heard of a case. It's everywhere.
And it affects children, it affects teenagers, it affects adults, it affects seniors, and it affects the elderly. It's not a very forgiving disease.
And not at all. And there is no known cure at this point in time. There are that can give you temporary relief, but there is no known cure. And on top of the fact that there's a large number of people out there who know they have this, there's a larger number of people, we suspect, who don't know they have this and aren't showing symptoms, yet are affected in the way they behave because of the behavioral characteristics of this affliction. Psychologically, this affliction is working on a large number of people who don't even know they have it.
Now, what kind of psychological signs or symptoms would people be exhibiting who have Morgellons but don't know they have it? Well,
you can start out with depression. That's number one. People begin to lose interest in the things around them, and a lot of times they're diagnosed with depression. And it's not a correct diagnosis. It's just a symptom. It's not an actual depression. It's depression. People begin to lose interest in things. They become unable. They're foggy in their memory. Their recall is bad.
Alec, can you give Cliff a call back, because we're having problems with your audio, Cliff. We're going to give you a call right back. Cliff Mickelson is our special guest. www.thenmo.org. That's www.thenmo.org. Now, you may be asking yourself, where did the name Morgellons come from? Well, the name comes from a condition involving black hairs emerging from the skin of children, which was documented in France in the 1600s. It's doubtful that the 17th century disease has anything to do with modern-day Morgellons. Pregnant mothers ask, will it affect my unborn child? Well, congenital transmission of the disease is, as of yet, undetermined, and other people are asking, how do people get Morgellons disease? The vector and delivery mechanism of this disease are, as of yet, undetermined. Other people are asking, is this a parasite? Well, many organisms have been found on the skin of individuals with this disease, but it remains unclear if they are the causative agent. The only consistencies seen are the fibers and other abnormal conditions of the skin, along with the congenitive issues. Could this be a bioterror? As yet, undetermined. Is there a cure? Well, though many report cures, unfortunately, the people at the nmo.org know of none that's helped each and every individual with Morgellons. And Cliff, I'm sure you're finding those people out there who are trying to sell snake oil now.
Well, this is a real serious issue, and we do our best to try and bring it to public attention that we have evidence that none of these cures that are touted out there on the internet, none of them work. There is no cure, and I'm going to say it again for everyone. There is no known cure, no scientifically proven cure for this affliction. There's a lot of people out there who will take advantage of you folks. If you want to be taken advantage of, be really careful. It's caveat emptor. There's just it's a minefield out there.
Now, we were talking about the signs and symptoms of people who may have Morgellons and not know it, and we were talking about the psychological effects, and you were saying that it's like depression is one of the main symptoms, and people with Morgellons who are depressed get actually treated for depression. Yes,
they do, and it really doesn't do any good because, of course, the treatment doesn't affect what's really causing the symptom. There's a lot of other things that are involved. You become lethargic, not only lethargic mentally, but you become physically lethargic. People sit on the couch for a year at a time.
Oh, gosh.
It's just terrible, the things that happen to them. And then once the lesions break out, then your life really starts going downhill.
So what can we do? What can the X-Zone Nation do? I know raising money is a big thing because we have to get the medical research into gear. That's something we have to do. And what can we do to help, Cliff? What can the X-Zone Nation do? What can the X-Zone Radio Show do? What can Talkstar Radio do to help?
I think, Rob, that what the X-Zone Nation can do and what Talkstar Radio can do is what they have been doing and been doing magnificently over the last several years, and that's help raise public awareness. And slowly but surely, we are moving the boulder up the mountain. It's been a long, hard haul, and we've got a long ways to go. But if everyone can help spread the word about this affliction and just make the public aware, make your doctors aware of it, gradually we will overcome the inertia that we're up against.
How come mainstream media hasn't taken this bull by the horn?
Well, that's a real interesting question, because actually a lot of local papers around North America have addressed this issue, and they have run articles on it, but we can't seem to break into the national limelight, into the international limelight. It's almost like there's a wet blanket on this subject. It'll hit the papers on the local level, it'll hit the news channels on the local level, but it never seems to get past that.
Compared to the swine flu that has now become the level of a pandemic, and of course this kicks much money towards the research and development of vaccines, how would you compare the two side by each? For example, how do you see the swine flu compared to Morgellons?
Well, in my opinion, and of course, as you know, I spent quite a bit of time in Mexico with claim that this originated. It's a vastly overblown affair. We have lots of other afflictions, including Morgellons, that are true threats to humanity, where this swine flu thing is just totally overblown. I'm not at all impressed with this swine flu issue. I believe that they've completely manufactured a total fear matrix with it, and we could be focusing our resources much more efficiently on other issues.
Now, on your website at www.thenmo.org, there is an online donation for Oklahoma State University that our listeners can go and make a donation. And what is being done at Oklahoma State right now as far as research for Morgellons?
Well, they're still working on DNA analysis of this. I'm not sure exactly why it is that we don't have a DNA analysis. One would think that would be something that would already be water under the bridge. I saw Dr. Wymore in February, or I believe it was in March, at the Morgellons conference down in Austin. He said that progress is slow. They've done some work, as you know, with the Tulsa Police Department, getting some analysis.
Yes.
But that's really about where we're at, Rob, and I'm sad to say that progress has not been very forthcoming.
We've got to kick some serious butt and get some serious dollars into the research. That's all there is to it.
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
You know, and I'm sure if we have a brainstorming session that we can come up with a way where we can have a radiothon, we can certainly do something in order to try and raise the money as well as the awareness. When I see what Jerry Lewis is doing for his kids, when you see the different telethons, when you hear the different radiothons, and you see the money that is being generated for these other diseases and the research, we have to be able to do something for Morgellons and the people who are afflicted with this disease. And you just name it, we'll help you do it.
Well, I think you're right on the money, Rob. And we do need to sit down and come up with some ideas where we can push this issue into the public limelight in a manner that will not alienate people, and will want them to get involved and to get interested and to donate. And to put pressure on the government to really come through with the donations that we need, the money that we need, because, as we all know, research is not cheap. But ladies and gentlemen, this stuff is going to get you sooner or later. It's afflicting thousands and thousands and thousands of more people every year. So we all have a stake in this.
We sure do. Once again, X-Zone Nation, if you'd like to make a donation, please go to www.thenmo.org. When you get to the main page, you're going to see on the right-hand side an orange and black logo that says register here on top. And on the bottom of this logo, you'll see donate here. Click on that and make a donation. The money goes to Dr. Andy Wymore at the Oklahoma State University, where the main focal point of research for Morgellons at this point is being done. Once again, that's www.thenmo.org. You go to their main page, that'll pop up. On the right-hand side of the page, you will see an orange and black logo with Oklahoma State University logo on it. Right beneath that, you'll see donate here. Click on that and please make your donation. I know times are hard. I know that you've got people coming from you from every direction asking for a little bit. I'm asking you now for a little bit. These people need help. They're not getting help from the government. They're not getting help from the pharmaceutical companies. It's up to us. People helping people. People being part of the solution to help these thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the world who are afflicted with this horrific disease. Imagine if you had your children taken away from you because you're going to your doctor, and instead of the doctor using his common sense, he decides that this is a psychological disease. Your children are taken away from you. Let's stop this archaic way of looking at Morgellons. Let's help put money in the coffers. Please, at www.thenmo.org. Cliff Mickelson and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break, X-Zone Nation, as we continue live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We'll be...
If you've got kids, chances are sooner or later you're going to need dental help. And when you do, I hope you'll remember 1995dental.com. 1995dental.com tells you how to save about 50% on braces for your kids. Similar savings on other services. Because this isn't insurance, there is no waiting period, no exclusion, no claim forms to fill out. You get instant savings from tens of thousands of dentists coast to coast. Unlike a lot of insurance policies, this discount program covers cosmetic dentistry, bonding, and cleaning. For the individual, it's $11.95 a month, but for the entire family, everyone who lives under your roof, regardless of age or relationship, it's $19.95 a month. Hence our name, 1995dental.com. Type in the numbers 1995, then the word dental.com. 1995dental.com will save you.
Are you getting tired of all the bad news? Well, then take a break from the worries of the world and play the love game. It's time to focus on what is really important in our lives, our relationships. You deserve more love, happiness, and harmony in your life. Synchro Hearts is the new hot relationship game that guarantees more love, laughter, and romance for you and your partner. It's not a sex game, it's a love game based on all the important relationship stuff like better communication, more intimacy, and lots of fun and excitement. Great intimacy is just one of the benefits of playing Synchro Hearts. Now, President Obama inspires hope, love, and peace for the world. Synchro Hearts offers more hope, love, and harmony for relationships. To order your very own edition of Synchro Hearts, visit Synchro Hearts' website now at www.synchrohearts.com. That's www.synchrohearts.com. Synchro Hearts. It's the game you love to play and play to love. MICKLESON is our very special guest this hour, X-Zone Nation. We're talking about Morgellons, the fiber disease. If you'd like to make a donation, www.thenmo.org. That's www.thenmo.org. Cliff, as always, great having you. Thank you very much for joining us and for giving us an update on Morgellons. I don't know what to say, my friend. I get totally frustrated because I know how many people are afflicted. I know that the numbers are rising, and I know that you and the other great crusaders at the NMO.org are working so hard on this uphill battle, and my heart goes out to you, and my hat goes off to you as well.
Well, thank you very much, Rob, and we really appreciate the support from the X-Zone Nation and from you, from Rob McConnell and all the wonderful folks that work with you. Together, we're gonna whip this thing, Rob.
You're darn right we are, buddy. And look how hard Dr. Randy Wymore's working.
Yes, he's working for free, by the way, folks. He's not getting a salary for this, and there's a lot of people out there donating their time. It's not about the money other than for the research. It's about finding a cure. And I would like to mention quickly for the folks in the Salt Lake City area, we will be holding a fundraiser and a rally. It's called Rolling Thunder on the 15th of August. And if you're into to motorcycles, Harley-Davidsons, we're going to be having a big Harley-Davidson contest and judging and giving away prizes. So come on out if you're in the Salt Lake City area.
Cliff, I want you to take care of yourself, my friend. Please give my very best to all the other people at thenmo.org. And like I said, if there's anything, Cliff, anything we can do to help you out here, just give a call. You know how to get a hold of me.
I sure do. Thanks a lot, Rob.
Keep smiling, my friend.
You got it.
And enjoy yourself in Mexico.
I will.
Ciao.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Cliff MICKLESON. He is one of the founding members of an organization that is working so hard to find a cure for Morgellons, to help the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who each and every year are diagnosed with this unknown disease. Their website is www.thenmo.org. And NMO, by the way, stands for New Morgellons Order. Now, when I come back from the news at 6.5 minutes past, on the other side of the top of the hour, I'll be joined by Ann Druffel. We're going to be talking about the proper way to investigate UFOs. Ann is one of the researchers, investigators, who has been giving her time and her efforts to try and solve the UFO phenomenon for a number of years now. Ann Druffel is up with me next as we investigate the proper method of investigation when it comes to UFOs. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My name is Rob McConnell, and this is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, and then the show is repeated in its entirety from 2 until 6 a.m. 1-877-528-8255 is my toll-free number, and I'll be back on the other side of the news as we continue in the X Zone on Talks.